episode 9, which means we only have one to go to live and die again. And it's your boy Icon with a DC TV review for you. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like it or subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos. And let's get this started because this does not feel like the show is ending. Too many things are happening. I mean, we got the Milton thing, which is a low-key Brainiac tease. You know, we got the whole thing with the Irons family missing their suits, and are they going to build new suits in time for the final finale? Superman is back fighting like the Doomsday and like Lex. It's just like so much stuff is happening. How do you wrap all of this up in one in one final episode? Like, I don't see it, but it's interesting and I do love it. So here we go. The episode starts where they're looking at all the things that Lex is doing to discredit them. Lex even told the public that Superman's losing his power. And then he's also like he sent his fake Mercy to go down to Lois to serve her papers because their lawyers are coming for that ass. And then she even said the woman who tried to Gretchen, I believe that was, Lois was trying to find him, and then not Mercy said, she was like, oh, don't bother looking for Gretchen because I'm pretty sure you're not going to find her. So now Lois is upset because that was like the only witness that she had left as far as like discrediting Lex Luthor. And then the boys are sitting there telling their dad, they're just like, oh, we got to do something. We got to take out Lex. And then Superman's like, no, we don't take out people. That's not how we do things. But he also understands that the fight is coming and they do need to prepare. So Clark decides, he's like, you know what, I'm going to take the boys to the Fortress of Solitude and I'm going to train them to see where they're at as far as like their powers are concerned. Lois ends up talking to Clark, and then she gets the idea because she said that if Gretchen's gone, she has no way to discredit Lex Luthor. But then Clark, you know, reminded her of her own words about going back to the beginning. And then she decided to go have a conversation with Bruno Mannheim, because that's where it all started. And it was nice to see Bruno Mannheim back because he is an Arrowverse character. He played a villain on Arrow. I believe it was season 5. Yeah, he played a season 5 villain. He was only there for maybe like 6 episodes, which sucked. And then he ended up becoming Bruno Mannheim on Earth 2 with Superman and Lois. So Lois is talking to him, and then as soon as she sat down and talked to him, she was just like, oh, Lex is coming after my family. He was like, well, nobody tell your dumbass to take him out of prison. He was like, we told you. He was like, my wife and I, we told you not to let him out of prison, and you did it anyway. And then he was like, but now that your family's in trouble, like now all of a sudden you need my help and everything. And then, you know, she apologized, and then she told him straight out, she said, listen, and she said, before you put Lex Luthor away with a lie, she said, this time help me put him away with the truth. And then Gretchen's name had got brought up, and then Lois had said that, you know, before I came to you, like Gretchen was my only source to take down Lex, and now she's dead. And then that's when Bruno was like, damn, you know, he's like, I can't believe he did that to somebody that he used to love. And then Lois was just like, wait, they used to be a thing? And he was like, yeah. He said that she was in the military, and when she met him and fell in love with him, she introduced him to her military contacts, and her contacts were the reason why he was able to build LexCorp. But, you know, after he got what he wanted from her, he basically kicked her to the curb, and now she's gone. So and then Lois said, well, the pattern's repeating itself with the not mercy. And then Bruno was just like, yeah, he's like, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And then that's when Lois was just like, shit, I got to go warn this chick. So she goes down to go talk to her, and she's like, oh, Lex, he's going to use you for what he needs, and then he'll discard you like he did Cheryl. And then, you know, obviously she didn't listen to her, and she was like, her name was like McCoy or something. She was just like, oh, you know, you're just jealous because I have everything. And then she was like, well, ask Lex about, you know, about Gretchen, and then we'll see what happens. So now Clark is at the Fortress of Solitude, and the boys are basically getting their ass whooped because he's putting them through training, going up against John Henry Iron's suit, and they're failing miserably. Like, and there's no strategy, like there's no technique. They're just charging in. Like common sense would tell you, if you're going straight forward and the object that they're trying to fight takes a step to the left, clearly, instead of you going straight forward, you need to be flying towards the left because that's where he goes to dodge. And they were just, I don't know. And I'm kind of mad at Clark for that too, because I understand they don't know what the hell they're doing and they're getting their ass whooped. But I'm like, bro, you offered no advice. You offered no coaching. Like you offered like nothing to tell them like, well, maybe you should do this differently, or maybe you should try this. He just watched them get their ass beat. And then he got mad. And then he was like, I've seen all I need to see. Like go back home. He went to go talk to his mom. And then his mom said that because they're half human, they're never going to get to the max level of power that their father is, which is something that Clark's going to have to accept. And now he needs to come up with another way to try to get them ready for the battle that's supposed to come. So now Lex, he's talking to Milton, and he asked him, was the suit ready? And then Milton was like, it's almost ready. But then due to them having the conversation, when Milton was going through the suit and going through all the information that was in the suit, he basically pulled up it was like a video that he pulled up with Lois Lane having a conversation about the Allie Alston incident, where she was saying that the Doomsday Superman came from the Allie Alston world. And then that's when Lex was like, shit, I know where the monster is. So apparently the monster is still alive, because I remember before, after Lois had the monster go away, I was confused because they, like, when Lex looked in the train station, it was just like, it was so like dark and blurry, I couldn't really see what it was, and I didn't know if Doomsday had like killed himself or he shed his skin or something. But basically he left and he went down to the mines. When the Not Mercy showed up to go, to go confront Lex, she went to go talk to Milton, and then Milton was like, he's not here. He went to Smallville. And she was like, why the hell would he go to Smallville? Then Lois came to her, and then that's when Lois was just like, look, he's going to use you the same way he used Gretchen. And once he's done with you, he's going to cast you aside, like he did her. So Lois got in her head. And then when she saw that he was about to go back to Smallville because he found the monster, she was like, why are you going back to Smallville? That's not part of the plan. Superman even came to him earlier and try to get in his head, because he was just like, well, Lex, he said, everything that you're doing, I can see it wasn't even your plan. It was your homegirl's plan. So he was like, what do you even do? He was like, are you even in charge of your own shit? So now Lex wants to prove that he's the man. And then when she confronted him and she was like, why are you in Smallville? Come back to Metropolis. We're about to do big deals, with the board of directors and everything. We don't need this Smallville shit. He was just like, yo, back off, because you're not in charge. I'm in charge. And then he was like, I do whatever I want. And then that's when she was like, oh, just like you did with Gretchen. And then he was like, who told you that name? And then, she was just like, no, don't do this. And then he basically discarded her. He was like, I'll do what I want. And then that's when Milton told him the suit was coming. And when the suit showed up, I was very disappointed, because it was the exact same suit that John Henry Irons wears. I'm like, bro, you didn't even paint it green and you didn't paint it purple. Like, I was really, really, really hoping that when the suit showed up, Milton was going to make a joke about, oh, the suit's ready, and I added a nice little touch for you. I swear to God, I thought he was going to paint that shit green and purple. That was the only thing that was missing, was the suit being green and purple. But Lex got in the suit, flew off, and then when he flew off, he went to go confront the monster. Superman ended up taking the boys down to the baseball field, and he told them, he was like, look, he said, obviously the two of you individually will never be as strong as me, but together the two of you can be as strong as me, because when I did all this, when I was Superman, I was by myself. I didn't have anybody. I had to learn everything on my own. If the two of you work together and the two of you have each other, then at least then you'll have a fighting chance, and both of you can take down any foe. You just got to be prepared. So he was training them. That didn't go in their favor either. And then while they were doing that training, that's when they heard the monster calling from the caves. And then that's when the Not Mercy went down to Lois, and then she was like, you're right, Lex is a madman, and he's going to unleash the beast all over Smallville. And that's when Lois was like, shit, that motherfucker's in the mines. And, and then Superman went to go confront him. He told the boys, like, go keep the people safe. And when Superman went to go confront Lex and confront the monster, Lex had already, like, killed him for the last time. So it turned him, like, because every time, like, Lex shoots him or kills him, like, he grows and he gets stronger, he gets more powerful. And then even Milton made a funny joke, because when they found out he was in the mines, they were just like, oh, like, he said, I know where the creature is. And then Milton said, well, tell me where the creature is so we know not to be there. But then he went down there. The explosion happened. He morphed into like a bigger evil version of Doomsday, and then he bust out of the caves and he went after Lois. When he found Lois and then he found the boys, Lois tried to talk to him again and it didn't work. But when he showed up, after he took like the blast, like the bomb blast that Lex had given him, he had like the bone beard and everything. He looked exactly like the Doomsday from the Justice League animated series. And I thought that was actually pretty dope. Because like he morphed to the point where he had like the beard and like he looks like actual Doomsday now, like legit like Doomsday, like comic book Doomsday. I think everything, he had everything but the ponytail. He didn't have the ponytail. So Superman shows up. He starts fighting Doomsday, so I guess I am going to get my Doomsday Superman like final battle. The boys went around saving all the townspeople. Even Jonathan, he saved Denise's ungrateful ass. And it was funny because there was a car that was flying into Denise's store, and Jonathan caught the car and put the car down and saved her. And I thought he was going to turn to her and be like, can I park here now? But he didn't do that. And then, so the boys are basically doing crowd control. Superman is up in the sky fighting Doomsday. Doomsday's beating his ass because, again, Superman, he doesn't have like his full Kryptonian strength, his full Kryptonian power. Lex is just hovering in the sky because he's like, I just want to watch Superman die for a change, like with my own two eyes. And then, you know, after the people got to safety and the boys had saved everybody, Doomsday had punched Superman out of the sky, and Superman crashed right in front of his family. And then he was all like bloody and everything, like his face was cut. He looked like he had 2 black eyes and everything. His family was looking at him, and then he was like, "Don't worry, I love you all so much." And then once he said that, Doomsday came, snatched him up, and then that was how the episode ended. And thank you for tuning in. Now, here's the funny thing. So I saw the coming attractions video for the final episode for the series finale. That's so weird to say. In the coming attractions video, and this isn't a spoiler because everybody can see that, they showed video, and I wish they didn't do this. They showed video footage of Superman fighting Lex Luthor with Lex in the suit. And Superman's face was noticeably and visually not battered and bloodied. He didn't look like 40 miles of bad road. He looked completely normal. Aside from the little tidbit about him looking normal, the fact that he was seen fighting Lex Luthor in the, you know, like in the trailer says to me he defeats Doomsday somehow. And I'm just like, I didn't want to know that. but I'm also like, how? There has to be something where other heroes that existed on this planet who haven't revealed themselves finally revealed themselves to save and help Superman. Because I cannot see, unless John Henry Irons and Natalie show up with brand new suits that are like more powerful than a locomotive, I don't see how he comes out of this. The only other way I can see him coming out of this, aside from him getting help from other superheroes or getting help from John Henry Irons and Natalie, is that if Superman finds the portal gateway to send him back home. Because I don't understand where we go from here. But even then, but the fact that Superman doesn't look beat up anymore, I'm like, how did that happen? Maybe I'm still holding out hope for John Diggle. Like, I'm still holding out hope for the Green Lantern Corps to show up, or John Diggle with the Green Lantern ring. But I know with one episode to go in the Arrowverse, like, that's a huge Hail Mary, but who knows? But share your questions, comments, and concerns down below, and we'll continue to talk about it. How do you think Superman defeats the Doomsday? Like, does he defeat the Doomsday, or does Doomsday defeat himself? What happens in the final battle between Lex and Superman? And where does the show end? Because next week is the series finale, for the love of God. And for me, this one hurts very badly. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns. Like I said, let me know what you thought about Superman and Lois so far, the episodes and everything between. Was it cool to see Bruno Mannheim back? And do we get all the cast characters? Like, does Natalie come back? Does John come back? Does Sarah come back? You know, does Lana come back? Do all the characters come back in the final? Because we ain't seen Lana since she got choked out. Last time we saw Lana was she was getting choked out. And the last time we saw Sarah, she got taken to Aruba. And I guess the boys never brought her back from Aruba. But I assume Kyle and Chrissy are living in their brand new house and everything. But as I said, we'll see where this goes. But I look forward to concluding Superman and Lois with all of you. Check out my other reviews, because right now the only other review besides Superman and Lois I got up on my channel is the the episode 10 of Cobra Kai, because they gave us the 5 episodes of Cobra Kai. My episode 10 will be up, by the time you see this, hopefully, and then we'll conclude. Then after that, I guess we got to wait till January or February for the conclusion of Cobra Kai. But after Superman and Lois ends on Monday, the next show I'm going to review is Creature Commandos, and then I believe we get Marvel's What If. So that was it, guys. So thank you for tuning in. So till next week, as we conclude the series of Superman and Lois and the family and everything in between, up and away for the second to final time. And until next week, as always, guys, we're out this. Bye!